When I left my life as a web developer, I made a promise to myself that I would stop using WordPress or other tools that required custom code. I wanted to experience what you, my audience, and my clients experienced, and I didn't want them to have to rely on code that I wrote. So I started using a bunch of other tools. I looked at Kit's landing pages and Card, and yes, even Squarespace and Wix. I looked at a bunch of other e-commerce platforms that were not WordPress, but a funny thing happened. I found myself continuously going back to WordPress. No problem, I thought. I'll just use native WordPress with no extra plugins, no extra themes. The site editor is supposed to usher in a new era of flexibility and customizability, but even that fell short. And so today, I want to tell you why I keep going back to WordPress plus Kadence for my landing pages and pretty much anything else I need to build on the web. Hey everybody, my name's Joe Casabona, and I want to thank Liquid Web and Stellar Sites, the makers of Kadence, for sponsoring this video. One of the reasons I am excited that they are a sponsor is because Kadence is a non-negotiable for me when I make websites now. So today I'm going to tell you why I love using WordPress and Kadence for my websites. And I'm going to show you pages that I've built without any custom code using WordPress and the Kadence theme and Kadence Blocks. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first reason is flexibility. You know, these tools like Wix and Card and Squarespace are great until they're not. Until you want to do something slightly custom. And I've run into this a lot with my audience, my own sites, my clients. They're using a platform and we are suddenly very limited in the thing that we are trying to accomplish. And if you're just looking to collect email addresses or put up some simple text on a page, that's great. But if you want to build a good experience, if you want to build a beautiful site, you need something more flexible than what those platforms offer. And WordPress is a completely flexible platform. If you need a feature, it exists on WordPress. Okay, so number 2 is openness. You're not locked in to a vendor. I have spent too much time over the last couple of years trying to get my data off platforms because I made an assumption that I could. I don't want to name names here, but there are platforms that have specifically told me I'm going to have to get my data off manually. And so then I or my VA has to go in and take all of that information off of the platform and put it someplace where it is good and not subject to another tech company. When you use WordPress as your platform, we can take our data wherever we want. We don't have to worry about getting locked in to a vendor. Even if we look at something like Substack, they make it very hard to have interoperability between Substack and other platforms. Which brings me to my third point, automation. If you've been subscribed to this channel for more than a minute, you will know that I love automation. Any platform I use, I require Zapier or webhooks, something that allows me to automate what I do. You know, something like Substack, they don't have any Zapier integration. When you use WordPress, you get Zapier integration. Let's look at the Zapier app page for WordPress. If we scroll down here, we'll see a bunch of triggers and actions that allow us to send data to and from WordPress. So WordPress, I don't worry at all about if I can automate it or not. And the really cool thing about WordPress is that with other plugins, you can get Zapier automation there too. So our sponsor for this video, Liquid Web Stellar Sites, they have a bunch of tools like LearnDash and Restrict Content Pro, and they all have their own Zapier integrations. So no matter what, when you go with a platform like WordPress, you will know that you can get data in and out easily and automate easily, which, like I said, for me is such an important feature. Number 4 is ease of use. And this is where I fear I'm going to get the most pushback on this video. There are going to be people who say WordPress is not easy to use. And I myself have said that. I fully agree that someone who is green to WordPress can't just go into WordPress and start building some complex thing. That's where Kadence and Kadence Blocks comes in. Because if you try to use the native block editor, I'm sorry to say, it is not intuitive and you can't build the things that you think you can, and a lot of features are hidden. But with Kadence, everything gets a bit more intuitive. You get something closer to a page builder inside of that WordPress editor. So yes, there is a learning curve, but once you use it a little bit, you can build these wonderfully complex, beautiful looking pages without having to be a designer. And like I said, we're going to look at a few of these in a minute. But before that, I do want to get to a few reasons that are probably more a bit subjectively me. I'm big on telling you, use the tool that works best for you. And if a different tool works and you're happy with it, then you should do that. But one of the reasons that I personally keep going back to WordPress and Kadence is familiarity. Whenever I sit down to try to build something without using WordPress or Kadence, it takes me a lot longer. Even the native site editor in WordPress, it is, call me old. I've been using WordPress since 2004 and it's changed a lot. So call me old if you want. But when I go to use the site editor, the thing that is supposed to make it easier for more people, I'm completely lost. I don't get the results I expect. I assume that there are a bunch of bugs in there. Rows and columns don't work the way rows and columns traditionally work everywhere else. So I find myself going back to Kadence, because when I drop something, when I drop a Kadence block or I try to do something with the Kadence theme, the way I expect it to work is the way it works. So yes, I am familiar with this platform at this point, which is a big leg up, but I try tools a lot. And I have yet to find something as lightweight and as intuitive, which brings me to my 6th point, which is efficiency, right? Because I'm familiar with WordPress and Kadence, I'm a lot more efficient. I can create templates. I have basically imported the same exact setup for Kadence and Kadence Blocks, and I've been able to use those as a jump off point for creating very different websites. So efficiency, again, you take some time to learn a great tool and you can do really great things efficiently. I don't know what the template situation looks like in Squarespace or Wix, to be honest with you. But what I do know is that Squarespace definitely does not have Zapier integrations. And so my efficiency would automatically take a hit here. So WordPress, because it's flexible and open and you can automate it, and I'm familiar with it, there's a big efficiency gain here. Number 7 is ownership. Now, we talked a little bit about this with openness, but your website is not at the mercy of some algorithm. Your content is not someone else's, or you're not granting a lifetime royalty-free, non-exclusive license to the platform owner to use your content however they see fit, which means that it is yours and uniquely yours. Owning our data should be really important to all of us, because it's great and convenient until it's not. Until you're the Spotify creator who was making a ton of money with her podcast, and then Spotify just accidentally banned her and she lost a bunch of money. So ownership is so important. Even if Squarespace or Substack got as flexible and allowed you to automate as much as WordPress, I'd have a hard time moving away from WordPress because you own your data. So with all of this, what can you really do with Kadence if you're not a web developer? Well, I want to show you some pages that I've created using just WordPress and Kadence. And I want to start with my website, my personal homepage, right? So we're going to see all of this stuff at play here, right? I think it's a beautiful website. I personally think this looks amazing. And the reason I want to give a shout out to my friend Holly, and she's my brand person, and she came up with the colors and the fonts, and I just plugged them into the Kadence theme. There's no custom code on this page. This is a Kit form. Kit has a WordPress plugin. So I can still use Kit, formerly ConvertKit, for my mailing list and have this beautiful form on my page. And if you want to customize the form even more, you can use a WordPress Forms plugin to do that. These testimonials are managed with Senja. So I'm able to integrate the other tools that I use into this page. And then, this mega footer is just a great result of Kadence and the blocks that are available here. If we go to a page that's not a home page, like my about page, I have selectively added this pre-footer, I guess, to any page that doesn't already have the opt-in on it. So that's another thing that Kadence allows me to do that at the very least was difficult for me in other platforms. This is my podcast page. So streamlinesolopreneur.com recently became the home of my articles and my podcast, and so I wanted a special page. And we're actually getting a look inside of the WordPress site here, the block editor, with Kadence Blocks. This is really important because it wouldn't look anything like this without Kadence Blocks if we were just using the native block editor, the native editor inside WordPress. So we've got this fantastic layout. I'm using the Kadence post grid carousel to show these episodes and only podcast episodes in this nice looking grid. So this is a really simple and very nice looking page that I built using Kadence. And if we go out to the page, you'll see it looks exactly like it did inside of WordPress. The last page I want to show you is the tools page over on streamlinedpodcaster.com. Because this is just a truly fantastic use of Kadence Blocks to make a beautiful page. So first of all, they have a table of contents block, which means that it will grab any of the headings and put it in this drop down here so that people can jump to the tool they're looking for. No custom code here. This is all just Kadence. And then these boxes, the star rating, the button, the pros and cons toggle, and the best for toggle, all inside of Kadence. I wouldn't have been able to do this without Kadence unless I spent a lot of time custom coding it. And I've gotten a lot of compliments on this page specifically. People see it and they're like, this is amazing. How did you build it? And then when I tell them WordPress, they're upset if they don't use WordPress. And then again, if we go out and we actually look at the result here on the page. So this is what the table of contents looks like. And if I click automation, it jumps right to automation. So this is the kind, this is maybe, I can't say my favorite page because like my gift guides also use Kadence and they are beautiful. There's a lot of complexity on this page that I didn't need to worry about because of Kadence and WordPress. So I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Joe, this is great, but the benefit of using something like Substack or Wix or Card or Squarespace is that I don't have to worry about buying hosting or needing a developer or having any level of technical expertise. But this is the reason why I'm so excited Liquid Web and Stellar Sites is sponsoring this video. Because if you go to streamlined.fm/stellar, you'll see that they've rolled out these new plans that are all in one, that give you the ease of use of something like Squarespace with the power and flexibility of WordPress and the affordability, because the lower plan for Stellar Sites starts at $15 a month and you get tons of features. You get all of the flexibility of WordPress, but you don't need to figure out how to spin up a VPS or choose the hosting or where to install WordPress. Stellar Sites and Liquid Web are giving you one of the earliest promises of WordPress, which is that it should be very easy to publish to the web. I want to thank them again for sponsoring this video. Check them out over at streamlined.fm/stellar. If you have any questions about this, Joe, how do I start using WordPress without code? What's your favorite thing with Kadence? What other tools does Liquid Web offer? Leave a comment below. And if you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe. And until next time, I hope you find some space in your week. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for watching that video. And thanks again to Liquid Web and Stellar Sites for sponsoring this video. Now, if you want to see some of the things that I'm automating with WordPress, check out this video over here. It's how I am sending everything I do on the web to a WordPress site using RSS and Zapier. Be sure to subscribe to this channel, and thanks again. I'll see you next time.